Hey folks, good morning and welcome to another episode of Steelers Morning Rush. I'm Alan Saunders. It is Monday, August 11th. I am still in the Jacksonville International Airport. Flight delay has me a day late coming back to Pittsburgh. We'll be close to being on time for training camp at St. Vincent College today. Brennan Howe over there in the meantime taking care of business with the early availability, things of that nature. Hoping to talk to Cam Hayward and Chris Boswell today about their contract situations. Other than that, of course, the final 2 days of camp from St. Vincent College on deck today and tomorrow. Camp breaks on Wednesday with a joint practice with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Acrisure Stadium on Thursday, preseason week 2 on Saturday at Acrisure Stadium against those same Bucs. I want to talk about some roster decisions, and I feel like really at this point in training camp, the roster battles have really been whittled down by a combination of injuries, strong play, weak play, that type of thing. It seems pretty obvious where the Pittsburgh Steelers are headed at almost every position. Going through my 53-man roster projection, which dropped a week ago from today, I mean, there's nothing that's changing. So let's talk about the places that I do think something still can change. I had 6 wide receivers on my 53-man roster last time, including both Scotty Miller and Robert Woods. I think this is probably one of the few places on this roster where people can still make a move. I thought Rock Taylor, Max Hurleman, and Keyshawn Williams all had really good games. And I think the fact that Hurleman and Williams both also play special teams is a real notch in their belt in terms of that competition. For me, those two guys are competing with Scotty Miller for a spot, while Rock Taylor is just competing with Robert Woods and the idea of the team being able to acquire an external Z receiver. I think there's room for one of each of those guys, a smaller guy who also plays special teams and a bigger guy who does not, whether that's Woods, whether that's Rock Taylor, whether that's Keyshawn Booty or Kendrick Bourne or Romeo Dobbs or Xavier Hutchinson, something like that. There's a chance that they only keep 5 receivers, and it's not the deepest position. So, like, I understand that is attractive, but I think Scotty Miller's played well enough to make the team. I think the depth is interesting, and I think they're probably good enough everywhere else on offense with just the 3 running backs, with just the 4 tight ends. And I know I've been asked, Connor Hayward's a lock to make this team. He's too good on special teams. They're going to play 4 tight ends at one time. They have to have at least 4. He's way better than all the other options, and is a very serviceable NFL player. I don't know why people don't like him. It's ridiculous. Uh, and then you have offensive line, where I have 9 with Dylan Cook making the team ahead of Max Sharping as of the last version of my 53, and I think I'm sticking right there. Calvin Anderson, if he ends up on the injured reserve, then you can put Sharping back on or whatever. They are allowed to put 2 players on the IR designated to return. Right now, I think one of those would be Will Howard, and maybe he gets cleared in time for the start of the regular season. I don't know, or maybe they'll just carry him on the roster knowing he won't be able to play week 1 or something like that. And we'll see what happens with that other spot, Calvin Anderson, Calvin Austin. Theoretically, both could be candidates for that. Another reason, Austin being banged up, to keep 6 wide receivers over on defense. I feel like the defensive line is set. There's 6 guys. They're the 6 guys. You're going to have the 3 starters, Benton, Harmon, Hayward. Then you can have Daniel Akawale. You're going to have Isaiah Loudermilk, and you're going to have Y.A. Black. I don't see anybody cracking that group. Same thing at edge. Top 4 guys are making it. No one else has a chance for me as of right now. And then you look at linebacker. Mark Robinson, can he continue to hold off Carson Bruner? Carson Bruner was really good in the first preseason game. He's making plays on both defense and on special teams. I think right now Mark Robb is probably still the better special teamer. And linebacker is so deep that they're not going to need that 5th guy to play any linebacker at all, because Cole Holcomb looks really good. And so just who's the better special teamer? For me right now, it's Mark Robinson, but I do think Carson Bruner has a little bit more linebacker upside. I also think they can probably get him through the practice squad. So that, and the fact that they're trying Mark Robinson at fullback tells me they think they want to have him on the 53-man roster. And then cornerback, to me, is the position that's totally wide open. Of course, you're going to have Slay, Ramsey, Porter. Brandon Echols, to me, is the 4th cornerback, and that's a lock. Beanie Bishop, I don't think there's anybody else to be a backup slot on this team right now with Dante Kent hurt. He could be on season-ending IR. or an IR to return designation, something like that, with that foot or ankle injury he's been dealing with. Um, there's no real competition there, even though I don't think Beanie was great in this game, and it has been kind of just okay throughout training camp. I think he pretty much has the spot. But that last outside corner spot between Corey Trice and James Pierre, I mean, right now I think you got to put Pierre on the team. That's what I had it last week. I do think if Trice can get healthy and can get back out there this preseason, he'll have a chance to win that job. And then another player that could end up on the injured reserve in some form or fashion, whether it's season ending or whether it's short term, if he's unable to get healthy by cut down day, which is coming up, man. It's just 2 weeks away here as we enter the stretch run of the 2025 training camp, preseason, that kind of thing. More with me and Smitty, Steelers Afternoon Drive, 6 o'clock right here, YouTube channel, audio feed, same as always. Hoping to get a practice report from Brendan today as well. So stay tuned for that here on the YouTube channel. Until then, like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and enjoy.